As promised, another round of stimulus checks is on its way.
$1,400 checks to people who need it.
You heard the man. $1,400 checks are going out to individuals and $2,800 to both happily and unhappily married couples. And if you have kids, you'll receive an additional $1,400 per child. But because Congress still has a few details to work out, these checks probably won't go out until mid-March. Maybe. What's the holdup? Lawmakers are still deciding who qualifies. As of now, the cutoff for individuals is $75,000 and $150,000 for couples. Like the last few times, if you earn more than these numbers, you'll get a partial payment. But there's a cap on that. Stimulus checks are based on what your latest tax returns say. If you haven't filed yet, and let's say you earned more in 2019 than you did in 2020, the IRS will update your balance once you file. So the sooner the better, folks. Most economists agree that the best way to fix this economic crisis is to throw money at it. But how much stimulus is enough, and will it even work?
I think right now the debate is really over how should we view these packages. Is it economic stimulus or economic relief?
This is Kyle Pomerleau. He studies the economy.
There's a distinction between economic relief, sending additional resources to households so they can cover bills, and economic stimulus, which is sending payments to households so they spend the extra money, and that kickstarts the economy and gets it back to where it should be.
So, if we're measuring efficacy by how well these bills have been able to relieve hard-hit Americans, we're doing fairly well.
It's hard to overstate the degree to which the checks for the low end of this income spectrum in this country really amounts to a degree of security.
This is White House economics reporter Jeff Stein. His internet isn't great.
The $2,000 payments that are being contemplated, the 14 plus the 6, would amount to approximately 30% increase in annual income for the poorest 20% of this country, according to research from ITEP.
In terms of how it's helped the economy, it's a little bit of a mixed bag.
This is Heather Long. She's an economics reporter at The Post.
People who earn under $50,000 have tended to spend them. These are people who don't have a lot of savings and they needed that money right away for groceries, for rent, for their car. And the flip side, people who earn $75,000 or up, these people have overwhelmingly tended to save the money.
If people are saving, they're not spending, which means they're not boosting the economy. And if they're not boosting the economy, how are we supposed to climb out of this economic crisis?
So Democrats like to look at these bills and say we need to do both relief to small businesses and the unemployed and a little bit of extra money.
We are not going to dilute this so it doesn't help the American people get out of this crisis quickly.
Republicans look at it a little bit more like we do have a debt to consider and that we shouldn't go overboard.
We do not need to let the Speaker of the House do socialism for rich people in order to help those who need help.
Because of the coronavirus pandemic, this recession is fundamentally different from any recession we've seen before. We're kind of in the Wild West of recovery.
There is hope that once the vaccines are widely distributed, say by the summer or the fall, that the economy can rebound much faster. This recession has hit the bottom wage workers. So we're talking about people who earn about $40,000 or less a year, far worse than anything we have seen before. Yes, low-wage workers and people of color often get hurt more in recessions, but this is just leagues worse than anything we have seen, even in the Great Recession. And we need to keep that in mind when we're thinking about who needs relief and who is still struggling.